right, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. So the 2023 Big Man Weekend Finals just wrapped up, and the results are in. Roman Fritz taking the victory here, so not super surprising. I think this is pretty much what most people expected after prejudging. After all, he was in the center of that first call-out pretty much the entire time. The top two call-out being him and Emir Omaragic, and that was your top two. Roman Fritz in first, Emir Omaragic in second place. I think at the end of the day, Roman was just more filled out. Obviously, he's got crazy conditioning, but I think at the end of the day, just overall, more muscular, more filled out, more balanced of a frame. And that combined with the conditioning that he brings is just a very hard-to-beat combination. So I think this is a very well-deserved victory. And now he's qualified for the 2023 Mr. Olympia. Now, in third place, you had Alejandro Orhi. And then in fourth place, you had the guy that I was talking about at prejudging, and that was Pablo Lopez, the guy that was in the pink trunks. And I really think this is a guy that we need to keep our eyes on. I think he's got some really good potential in the very near future. I think he could be dangerous. So definitely, I was definitely impressed with what he brought to this show. So congratulations to Roman. I'm looking forward to seeing him on the Olympia stage. And overall, still, I would like to see lineups like this be deeper. A show with this kind of production value, that kind of venue, that kind of live stream, that kind of quality of production, I really think more people should have showed up. The competitor list was pretty comparable to some of the shows that we've had recently in the States and in Canada. And I'm not going to name any specific shows, but if you look at the production value of some of those shows, you go back and look at the stage, look at the backdrop, look at the venue, and compare it to what we saw here. This stage at this Big Man Weekend really blew it away. They went all out for the show, and I want to kind of try to recognize that in this video. Because I do think when a promoter like this goes out of their way, and that would be Emilio Martinez, he puts on a couple other pro shows too. One of them is actually that European Championships in September where Good Vito is going to be making his pro debut. But I just kind of wanted to make that point because I feel like so often we complain about the lighting or the background or the live stream of a particular show or a particular promoter. So I feel like when a promoter does a really good job on everything, it should be acknowledged, and I feel like this was a good example of that. I mean, this show overall, it was just really well produced. The lighting was damn near perfect. The stage was huge. And I'm not talking about the decorations. I'm talking about the size of the stage itself, giving the competitors plenty of space. But anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below about the 2023 Big Man Weekend and the winner, Roman Fritz. Now, next up in the news, here's a guy that we haven't talked about really at all lately, really since the Olympia last year, Brandon Curry. This physique update posted by Coach Abdullah over there at Oxygen Gym. I confirmed with Abdullah this is a recent picture. This is not from previous preps, according to Abdullah directly. So look, quite frankly, Brandon's name has been left almost entirely out of the conversation about the Olympia this year, despite the fact that he was fourth last year. Now, granted, in the years leading up to 2022, Brandon and Rami were kind of going back and forth, and those were the top two spots, and then that really completely changed in 2022 with Brandon being pushed to fourth with Nick Walker, Derek Lunsford, and Hadi Chupin ahead of him. But is it fair that we exclude Brandon from this conversation of first call-out guys, guys that are challenging for the title, just because, really, I think the main reason is Brandon hasn't posted any physique updates. And I could be wrong, but I haven't seen training videos either. I haven't seen anything really recent of Brandon. And I think that's part of the reason why people haven't been talking about him. But is it really fair to exclude his name from the conversation as being still an Olympia threat just because he hasn't been posting as much? After all, him and Rami will be the only two former Mr. Olympias competing in the Olympia, aside from the reigning champ, Hadi Chupin. So that counts for something. And I feel like a lot of people overlook the fact that Brandon beat Rami at the Olympia. Granted, it wasn't Rami at his best, but Brandon wasn't able to beat Rami during his 2-year Olympia run. So technically he got better because he was able to beat Rami this year, but also 3 other guys were able to beat Rami this past year. So it didn't really seem as significant that Brandon finally beat Rami because all these other guys beat Rami too, and Rami wasn't at his best. But I do think it's worth pointing out that even though Brandon dropped in placings too, he still at the same time overcame his really biggest rival at that point, which was Rami. So my question for you guys is, do you think Brandon Curry could still be in the conversation for a top 3 spot? as a threat to the Olympia title? Or do you think his placing will continue to drop and go beyond 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, whatever? Because despite the gray in his beard in this picture, he's only 40 years old. In the grand scheme of things, 40 is not extremely old in bodybuilding. It's not young, but a lot of people would argue that bodybuilders hit their prime in their mid-30s and maybe are past their prime in their 40s, but it's all subjective. Look at what Dexter Jackson was able to do. Ronnie Coleman won a couple Olympias in his 40s. So is it possible for Brandon Curry to reclaim his title, or is he going to be a one-time champion? I just want to bring this conversation back up and kind of get your guys' opinion on it, because I really feel like Brandon's name has been left entirely out of this conversation. The Nick Walkers, the Derek Lunsfords, the Samson Dowdas, Hadi Chupin, Big Ramy even, Andrew Jacked. So looking at this physique update, knowing that it's recent from this prep, what do you guys foresee for Brandon's future? To me, the reason why I asked if this was recent is because it looked about the same. I love Brandon. I love his physique. But the point that I'm making is, if his physique looks about the same, and I think it has for maybe the last couple of years, the last couple of Olympias. So if he's not improving and he's not looking vastly different, how does that affect his chances at the Olympia in 2023? My honest feeling on it is I don't think it's very likely that Brandon will reclaim the title, just because that's not something that happens very often. Now, next up in the news, we did get some rare guest posing footage from Mexico of Antoine Vaillant, but I think more interestingly of Terrence Ruffin, Ruff Diesel, because Terrence finds himself in kind of a unique position where he's not qualified for the Olympia, and it's just a couple months away. Now, he's already said, I believe, that he's doing 2 shows prior to the Olympia. He has to do at least 1. So to me, in these guest posing photos, he looked big, which might not necessarily be a good thing for somebody that has been struggling with making weight at the Classic Physique Olympia, which I think is the reason why he looked the way he looked last year, and I think is the reason why he dropped so many placings. But another thing that we know about Terrence Ruffin is the fact that he tends to be able to get in shape for a show really, really quickly. 3, 4, 5 weeks out, he makes rapid transformations in a very short amount of time. So when I see this, and I still think he looks big, I'm not overly concerned that he's going to be able to dial it in. I'm sure that he knows what he needs to do, and I'm sure he's on track, and I'm sure he's probably, in his mind, never wants to let what happened at the Olympia happen ever again. He weighed in, I believe it was just 1 pound over, and had to try to lose that 1 pound last minute, right as the weigh-ins were happening. I think he had like an hour or 2 to do it. So that's my concern. I think that's what a lot of fans are concerned about this year, is will he be able to regain his spot, at least even in the top 3 at the Olympia this year in Classic Physique. I don't think he's going to make that same mistake twice, but we'll see. Now, the final story that I have for you guys today. I wanted to wish a happy 76th birthday to 7-time Mr. Olympia, the Governator, Arnold Schwarzenegger, who on July 30th, 1947, 76 years ago, was born. And I think arguably you could make the argument that bodybuilding as it is today, the professional bodybuilding that we enjoy watching, might not even exist if it weren't for what Arnold Schwarzenegger did for the sport. That star power and publicity he brought early on, and then the trajectory that the Olympia would take in the years that followed, then of course the Arnold Classic, has pretty much directly shaped the landscape of the IFBB that we enjoy today. Think about all these pro shows that we watch. They're all Olympia qualifiers. These guys are competing not only for prize money, but to get to the Olympia. And the Olympia, let's be honest, is a show that was made famous really initially by Arnold Schwarzenegger. His fame brought real notoriety to that Olympia title. So I think it would be cool if you guys left a comment in the comment section of this video of your favorite memory of Arnold, or your favorite thing that Arnold has done for bodybuilding as kind of a happy birthday to him. So happy birthday, Arnold, and that's going to wrap it up for the video, guys. I hope you did, in fact, enjoy it. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Click that bell notification icon to be notified every time I upload a video. And as always, I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Nick Strength and Power signing out. All right, guys, don't forget to click that like button and subscribe to this channel if you enjoy the content. Also, check out my Instagram at Nick Strength Power. my Facebook page, which is simply Nick Strength and Power, my secondary YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Vlogs, for vlogs and bonus content that you will not see on this channel, and consider subscribing to my third YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Pokemon, which is all things Pokemon and trading card games, completely unrelated to this channel. So if you're into that, give that one a look. And all links to merchandise and social media will be in the description box below. If you guys want a Nick Strength and Power t-shirt, that will be in the Shopify link below. Have a great day.